thought I would take you along to, let's get some light in here, show you what we have going on, what the plan is for growing all winter, how my harvest wall is doing. We're still kind of a hot mess here. Sorry, I'm like, can't talk this morning there. As far as like growing food being the priority, but I'm really hoping next week, sorry, I can't talk, that changes. Oh, because, you know, we've got some things under control with the 2 houses we're working on, and the third situation, the gentleman who had a heart attack who was sleeping in the garage. All of that's in motion, but growing food has to like get ramped back up onto the priority list. So I have been growing food, and I finished out my gardens outside. I'm going to show you, but we've just been hit by frost after frost after frost, and it's taken a toll on the stuff out here. So I'm going to show you like what I do about that, what I've been doing. And then I'm actually going to start a cleanse on Monday because, you know, health things around here are a struggle. All right, let's flip this around and go on a little tour. The plants have taken a hit, but there's still a lot to be saved, and some things can handle hard frost. So let me show you. So this is my extra tall tower. And in the spring, all my towers, well, no, 8 of my towers will be tall like this because it just gives you so much more food without taking up any more space. Like, I'm already running this, why not grow more food? You do have to change the pump out to Tower Garden specific high capacity pump. Use the Tower Garden one. It's really important because they are designed to handle our mineral use and our systems to go, because, you know, most pumps just run continually like in a fish tank. These are actually designed to be okay cutting off and on so consistently. So everything froze multiple times. It is frozen and thawed. And so usually plants can take a hit, certain things, and then be fine. But when it's over and over again, it's going to cause some wear. So I'm going to have some leaf damage, but this is still beautiful. This is the Emico Napa cabbage. This will be totally fine. This is arugula and cilantro, and some of it is like not going to make it. But I've been coming out and just cutting this and putting it in smoothies. And so I'll go through the bad leaves that didn't make it, and we'll just keep using it up. This is a mustard. This down here got hit a little bit harder. So I think I'm going to be able to save parts of it, which is great. And then anything else will just go to the chickens, which becomes food, you know. These are all the ones that are done for the season. The cabbage has not loved this constant freezing and thawing, but cauliflower has done amazing. And cauliflower, as long as the heads are not formed, can handle a hard frost and still grow. And we're going to get warm weather, so we should be able to get our cauliflower heads off of all of these because they've already started to take shape. The parsley did amazing. The parsley has held up to the frost, no issues. The kale is amazing. Kale actually tastes better after it's been through a frost. It makes it super sweet. I harvested parsley. We're going to make the bouilli tonight. So, you know, everything here is on its way out. It's just a matter of eating, you know, through the next couple of weeks. And I am going to do a cleanse, so I'm going to go through a lot of this food fast. The turnips are fine. Look at these turnips. I mean, it's one of my favorite foods. I'm going to make a turnip lentil soup tonight. Bok choys, that'll go in my soup tonight. And then inside, oh, let me read your comments. Hi from Taiwan. Hi, Bridget. Oh, I'm excited you're going to get your tower soon. They are so fun. West Virginia, the frost takes the bitter and toxins out of the kale and sprouts. I did not know that. I don't know if I'm going to say your name right. Mura Diesel. Yeah, I really like kale after it goes through a frost. So this is my pepper tower. It's over a year old because peppers are a perennial and they will last for about 5 years. So it's also my aloe for medicinal. This will be a huge part of my cleanse. I'll post some stuff on the cleanse I'm doing next week. But this is like a medicinal tower too, because I've got my oregano, my aloe, my hot peppers, which the capsaicin in peppers, that's medicine. That's how I make like my fire ciders and all of those things. I actually eat hot peppers consistently for dinner as well. Peppers just for food. These are some food peppers. But peppers are going to go through a blooming stage, and then you're going to harvest, and then I prune them back. So a lot of these are going to get pruned back soon, and then they will rebloom. So this is a bell pepper. It's produced. I cut it back, and here we go again with all of this beautiful food. Sometimes I'll thin if it's got too many flowers. Like I'm going to take this one trying to come up off, because you get bigger bell peppers if you do that. Look at all these boots. We're not quite through the thick of this storm, but I feel like it's getting a little more normal. It's bell peppers. This is, if you ever want to farm peppers and make money, this one's like the most expensive pepper you can sell to people. They like fancy restaurants use them. This is marjoram. Marjoram, use this for medicinal purposes. Very potent medicine. What do we got over here? Jalapenos galore. These are jalapenos. There's another hot pepper. This one, I don't remember the name of it, but it's so tasty. So those are doing great. These are the new towers that are set up. I have not put the lights on yet. Just again, busy and just behind on life. But these are planted. I'm going to get this one done today. And we have all the starts, cilantro, no idea, maybe a spinach. I did do some spinach this time. All of those. And then let me show you the harvest wall. Yeah, Tyler, they work. I grow all our food on these. I grow on them year round, and they work amazing. There's my mushroom boom room. I'm going to get that up this week, and we have a new one for inside. So I'll be doing some videos showing you guys how to use the smaller version, but I do miss having fresh mushrooms. This is the harvest wall. So what I'm learning about these two systems, I like them for different reasons. This one is hydroponics, but it's a hybrid hydroponics. And those are aeroponics, but they're a hybrid aeroponics. And it seems like the hybrid is where you get the best options, because true aeroponics, like misting, creates amazing food and amazing root systems, and it's great science. It's a very complicated system, and it's very limiting to what you can grow. True hydroponics, where the water is consistently flowing through a system, like an NFT, great, has more complications to it, and it requires more space because you have to be, what is this, horizontal, vertical? Yeah, horizontal. So I didn't have the space for that. It's a different system, not that it's bad, but this is a hybrid. So this only cuts on for 4 minutes. I have mine set to 4 minutes, 4 times a day. So I get water through this system 16 minutes a day. That's incredibly effective. As far as power usage, you almost can't even like put a price on that. If you have it outside, you can grow these outside. Inside, I have to use my lights, and obviously the lights are gonna draw more power. I think I'm running about $12 a month on this light system. That's a rough guesstimate, but that's about it. The tower's the same thing inside. I'm running about $12 to $14, I believe. Outside, I think it's like $4. They kick on a lot more. They're running outside, they're running 3 minutes every 15 minutes or 12 minutes, something like that. It's a lot more, but still very effective. They're hybrids because this, even though we have root systems here, look at these. Let's pull them out. You know, we've got our roots, but we're growing in a cocoa core, and I actually use worm casings in here as well for nutritional purposes. I do have some nutritional issues going on because I'm actually not using hydroponic nutrients. I'm just using my tower garden nutrients, which are for aeroponics. I need to do that next week, is switch over. I just haven't had time, and it's doing fine. There's just a few issues, you know, nothing dire. So these are different because this is a hybrid in that it is not running consistently. There's no water on right now. Comes out of these little holes here and runs down. So it runs just like the tower gardens, where it's circulating water and we're recycling. And so the water and the nutrients are in the tank below. They get pushed up through this piping system. The pump drips them onto the vegetables, giving them their water and their nutrients 4 times a day. The rest of the time, they are just sitting here and they're moist to the touch all the time. So they're just growing. With the aeroponic systems, it's the same thing. You can hear them running right now. One of them in here is running, this one. So this pepper's not gonna make it anyway. We've got circulating water that's pumped out of the tank, goes up and drips down. And that's happening when it's indoors every 40 minutes for 12 minutes, something like that. 45 minutes for 15, I don't know, something like that. And it just drips down. So they're not running on air full time, they're not running on water full time, so it makes it a hybrid hydroponic system. And you will get algae, which is that right there, anytime you have light and nutrients come together, but it's not a big deal. It's nothing I would even worry about. It's just a part of hydroponics. Let me see if I can see your comments, and I'm gonna flip this around. I have stoves to go to our hurricane victims in here. We've got all this stuff for hurricane victims. So usually my garage is like my office, but now it's like a distribution center and an office. What are your thoughts about eliminating fluoride from the water? Do it ASAP, Lisa. I say I wouldn't put that in my body ever. I do have some water filtration systems. I'm doing a YouTube this week. This right here. This one is a reverse osmosis, and it's going to help remove heavy metals too, which is a big concern in our area right now. Actually, I think this is just like the Berkey. This one's like their version of a Berkey. They have a water straw too. I don't know where it's at. But yeah, that one's, I'm going to talk about this week. So for getting that stuff out. Water delivery reservoir. I don't know what the question is there, Tyler. Water delivery reservoir, what do you do? So I'm going to talk about the water in a YouTube, and I'm actually launching a podcast, and I think the first episode is going to be on water because I get this a lot. Over on my Instagram, it's the Aeroponic Tower channel, and I have a reel highlight, and it's talking about water. If you were on city water, I have some thoughts on that as far as like making sure you're using your preps, your water preps. And I don't want to get into that conversation here. It'll get too long, and I've got to go. We're going to run errands today. But use your preps. Be always using anything preparedness. When the crisis happens, it's not the time to put those things into action. If you're on city water, I would be using clean water systems and have your backup systems going and rotating through those. And I'll talk about that on the podcast and on the YouTube when that comes out. What do you grow that provides protein? Okay, this is my Boom Room 2 from North Spore, and I grow mushrooms for protein. I'm personally plant-based. I do have chickens, and I feed them greens because I think greens are super important. When egg yolks are really orange, a lot of people think that's protein because they're free-range chickens. It's not. It actually comes from feeding them greens. When you feed them a high green diet, you get super, super rich orange egg yolks. So we do have chickens. I don't eat eggs very much. I just don't prefer animal protein. I just don't like it. So, but we do have them for my family. So I grow mushrooms. Let me show you. I grow them in my Boom Room too. I grow them in different systems outside when the weather's warm. I have different straw systems. You can see some of my past videos. And we mushroom log. So all of this is for growing mushrooms. So we eat a lot of mushrooms. Mushrooms are a complete protein. They have all the amino acids intact. They're also an amazing source and the only source of a plant-based vitamin D. And these are finished. We drilled the holes and we put the spawn in and we covered it in wax. And now they're ready to go into the forest. I grow them over here on my driveway. I can't walk over there without losing reception. But you might be able to see them right there. And I keep them there because if they're in sight, I can see what's blooming and I don't miss any of our harvests. If I put them out in the forest a little deeper, I just will miss them when they're at their peak. So when I'm driving to the gym every day, I just look over and see if we have any food to eat. These, we drilled the holes. I have a video coming out on this. Billy over at Permapasture Farms and I put a course on. He came over for the course to learn and we filmed it. So look out for that video. But we drilled the holes and these all will be filled this week. And we have our little station going over here. These haven't been drilled. And then here's our spawn. And it's ready to go. North Spore donated all of this to us. North Spore is amazing. I love them so much. They have just been such a blessing to us here in Western North Carolina with support and all the things. I need to reach you about the Rainey family coming from Homestead Rescue on Discovery. We need to send the names of those that need. Yeah, please reach out to me, Nancy. Steph Mormino. My email is STEMOR and the number 8 at gmail.com. I would love to talk about that. I was just talking to somebody about that movie this week. Yeah, so Nancy, if you contact me there, Steph with 2 F's, MOR, the number 8 at gmail.com, and I would love to connect. What kind of mushrooms? I grow shiitakes, so it can depend on your area. And I don't have it set up right now, but I have a green stock system, which is a plastic tiered gardening system for soil. I grow oysters in straw in the summer. So oysters are a summer mushroom. They burn out really quickly. They eat straw really quickly. It's like fast food. Here in our region, the mushrooms that do the best in logs are shiitakes. So that's what I grow. But you might have to look in your area and just see. I grow lion's mane, but I grow those inside. I grow oysters inside and on straw. I grow wine caps in my beds, my garden beds, my permaculture landscaping. This is all permaculture landscaping here. There's some of my mushroom logs here. And then throughout here, I have inoculated wine caps into my wood chips, and they come up when it's warmer. You can use your green stock. Yes, Eliza Betsy, you can use your green stock for mushrooms. Go back and watch some of my mushroom videos. I have a playlist and I talk about that. That's how I use my green stock. I don't like it for gardening. John, with shiitakes, here's the one thing with mushrooms I have found. So I inoculated logs with 2 friends. We all did it here at my house. And I put mine on the driveway and I just let them be, and I checked them anytime we had rain for a couple of days or weather. I have harvested a ton of mushrooms off those logs. My other friends moved twice, moved the logs with them, put them in a place where they didn't see them, didn't ever have mushrooms, and then eventually left the logs behind when they moved the second time. The thing with mushrooms is it's a long game. If you're going to do them on logs, you need to consistently update your stash. So I like to do it once a year, if possible, add new ones. That way you're always having mushrooms. It just keeps you harvesting full time, like year round, and always having fresh ones. And then put them somewhere you're going to see them. So most people don't have success because they don't wait long enough. They don't put them in a moist enough place with a little bit of filtered sun, and they don't put them where they see them, so often they end up blooming and you miss it and you think you never had anything. Not much protein in mushrooms. So the protein in mushrooms is a complete protein, so you don't need as much. It's just like a complete amino acid. I don't know. I'm an athlete. I do CrossFit 5 days a week and personal train on the side. I feel fine I eat a low protein diet, but that's just me personally. I think everybody just has to decide like what their body likes. I don't do well on a high protein diet. It actually makes me really sick. And I think it's just because I've been plant-based since I was 14. I tried meat in between like a couple of years there, a little bit of it, but I probably just don't have the enzymes to handle a heavy protein diet because my body's used to a heavy green diet and protein diet. Okay, I'm gonna turn this around so you don't have to look at my face while I read these comments. Find turkey tails. Yeah, turkey tails are medicinal. They're amazing. I used to link and order a package. Oh, thank you, Thistle Moon Farm. She used my link to order a tower. Let me know when you get it set up. Yeah, mushrooms are amazing. You want to do your mushrooms if you're going to do mushroom logs. And this company sent me this little saw. Let me show it to you. Because if you're a woman out there who's afraid of a chainsaw like I am, this company just sent me this Cecil. You can get it on Amazon, and it's a battery. It's like a drill. Let's see if I can open it. Just a little hand drill saw. And that's great because I can manage some of these logs that are too big with something like this. I can also go cut down a little tree that's about 4 inches wide. The smaller the diameter of the tree, the faster it's gonna bloom. And I can manage a small tree like that with a handsaw like that. The time to do your logs is it's in winter. So ideally it's like before they lose all their leaves, so maybe when about 30% of the leaves are gone, or before they bud and put out their new leaves. And the reason is you're trying to catch the highest sugar starch content in the trunk of the tree before it goes down into the roots to wait. So either doing it at the end of the season where it's kind of drawing down, or at the beginning of spring or before spring when the nutrients start to pull up. But the other best time is when you've got time to do it, because they'll still grow. You know, we say the best time is then, but I've done them at any time. If a tree fell, I turn it into mushroom logs. You know, I'm not gonna waste it just because it fell in the summer and not the winter. And it works fine. Let's see here. Smaller wood is nicer and easier to burn, yeah. Hi from Florida. Hi, Cynthia. Oh, okay, Nancy, my email is STEFFMOR8 So Steph with 2 F's, more, MOR, 8 @gmail.com. And anybody feel free to reach out if you have questions on anything. What if my area is all shade in the winter? Yeah, shade is, Eliza Betsy, you want shade. That's ideal. Mushrooms do best in shade. If you grow your mushrooms in complete shade, which is totally doable, and actually they tend to produce a little bit more because it's moister in shade areas, they won't have as high a content of vitamin D. Or if you grow them indoors, they're not going to have that. So mushrooms synthesize UV rays similar to humans. It's actually kind of cool. They also put off CO2 like humans. So when you have them indoors or in a super shady spot, what I do is I harvest them and then I put them gills up in the sun for about 15 minutes and let them soak in UV. That will increase the vitamin D content, and then you can eat them. I also, if I'm going to dehydrate my mushrooms to save them, that is one of the things mushrooms are the absolute best out of most foods, is dehydration, and the fact that you can, like if you get too many, dehydrate them in the sun. They'll dry quickly, be loaded with vitamin D, and then I store them in the pantry and they reconstitute beautifully. I also turn them into powders and put them in soups all the time as a thickening agent. And then you get all the medicinal properties of mushrooms in the soup. And most people in my family don't even know it's in there. I put it in stuff. I put it in rice. I put it in everything. It's great. So let's look at the harvest while I read these. Ooh, creamy mushroom herb soup today. I'm jealous. I would throw turnips in that. I love creamy mushroom turnip soup. It is like my absolute favorite. I have large standing dead stumps of white oak. Would they be good candidate? And what would be the best mushrooms? Yes, as long as there aren't other mushrooms growing out of it. So the other thing with mushroom logging, I would do shiitakes, and shiitakes are a little bit more tolerant of wild species of lichen and things that are on the outside bark of something that's been sitting a longer time. Lion's mane are not. Like, some things are super sensitive. So shiitake's my easy go-to. White oak is great. If there's other mushrooms, like if they're super old stumps, they're not ideal. But if you've got some pretty fresh stumps, I would totally go for it. And pretty fresh, I mean, ideal is less than 3 weeks, but I would do way more than that if they don't look like they've been overtaken by some other mushroom. It cannot hurt to try. That's the thing. Buy a bag of spawn, you buy the little drill bits, spawn it up, put the wax over it, and yeah, that would be totally worth doing. I love turnips, help to detox. Oh, nice. I didn't know it helped detox nicotine. I have rutabagas. Yeah, rutabagas the same. Still just as amazing. I keep dehydrated mushrooms. Yep, I just bought some Thistle Moon. I just bought mushrooms at, I never go to Whole Foods because ours is really far, but it happened to be out that way. And they had wild chanterelles, and I bought a bunch of those and dehydrated them too. The wildlife does not eat mushrooms. It's slugs. We'll eat them, and turtles will bite off of them, but they don't eat all of them. They might just nibble a little. Mushrooms at the base. Honey ring mushrooms at the base. They are debarked but have an ant problem. Yeah, those might be too old. I almost would say just find a small tree and cut it down, Eliza Betsy, and just do a new fresh log if you're going to spend the money to get the spawn. And then if you have extra, you could do that. So buy the spawn, find a small tree you can inoculate, and then put the extra in the logs. That way you definitely are going to have stuff from the new tree. And then if it works with the stumps, then it's just like bonus food. Worked for me to quit smoking after many years. That's amazing. Is your garage heated for winter? Yes, Sarah, this garage, it's actually an old warehouse for a mechanic. So it's really big, so it does not hold heat very well. So I do a couple of things. I'm gonna put insulation board, just like that foam board, underneath my towers because the concrete is so cold that it pulls heat out of the water. I also use a special heater in my tanks to keep the water warm. I run the heat pretty low. I don't want to use too much power in here. So between those three things, I can keep cold weather crops doing great. I can keep my peppers happy enough. Peppers don't like to be under like 40. So I try to stay at about 60, 65. I'm not going to be able to grow tomatoes in here. I have some on my harvest wall, little dwarf ones, and we'll see. But it's a little too cold for tomatoes to set fruit. Harvest Wall has one that's half this size. And so just like one panel. And I would actually love to do one of those in my basement that is warm and just do tomatoes in there. So I have tomatoes year round. I'm thinking about adding that at the beginning of the year. And what I do is replace the grocery store like 100%. So you're going to see me I'm about to set up a second tower of just peppers. And I may do the Harvest Wall just tomatoes. And then I've got all my greens. And that way I always have food all the time to make meals. I don't have to rely on the grocery store. So that's the goal. I'm working towards not relying on the grocery store at all, but I'm not there yet. I've got to be able to grow my own beans, excuse me, which will happen on the towers next year, and dry them. And then of course I'll always use grains like einkorn because I love sourdough and homemade pasta. Do you have a small greenhouse? I do not have a small greenhouse. I don't need it in this climate. What works best in our climate, I would say we're like zone 6B. My hand's getting tired. A high tunnel would be best for tomatoes, basically just to keep the rain and weather off of them for disease. But I have not found it worth it just for that yet. Doesn't mean I won't. I may do a tiny little greenhouse just for seed starting, and that's about it. Greenhouse here would be really good if it was temperature controlled, but that's expensive. And then it would be okay for citrus and stuff. But the problem is the greenhouse gets really, really hot. And then you can like burn up plants. That's why a high tunnel is better because you can roll up the sides and get airflow. How does it work? I once tried quitting. Oh, she's asking about quitting smoking. Yeah, that's a great conversation to have. Leaf trees for mushrooms. Is pine good for mushrooms? No. You have to look at certain, you want hardwoods. There's certain woods that mushrooms need to grow on. Pine is not one of them. Okay, I'm going to turn this around, give you guys a little bit more talk on this and just how it's going so far because this is new, and then I'm going to hop off. We've got to run some errands today. So one thing I've noticed, this is, I think, Kamatsuma. It has grown, like the leaves are ginormous compared to what I'm used to. So it is growing so beautifully. This is a cauliflower. I've got some nutrient deficiencies, like I said, because I'm using tower nutrients. The green beans are not liking it here, but they are blooming. So we're going to get food. And I'm going to work on the nutrients this week. I don't even know what all this is. I think this is tatsoi. It's self-sprouts in here. This mountain spinach. We've got radishes. These do not grow well in the towers. So I am so excited I can grow radish here because I am a radish. I love radish. This is a spinach that's popping up. I'm waiting on the other spinaches. This is parsley, doing great. And you can see things are gonna shade each other out. So one thing I've noticed about this versus my towers, I'm gonna be harvesting food smaller on here. My plants on my towers indoors, you'll see at the end of the winter, they get huge because you have more room and more space in between them on a tower. It's a little more jammed up on this one. We have larger grow ports here and then small ones here. So it just means I'm turning my food over faster on the harvest wall, which is great because I'm gonna have a grow station going and then you take the plants out, put them in, so you come and harvest this for dinner. Look at this. Like this is actually going to be on the menu. I can't pull it out. That's kale. Look at this amazing kale. It's just an incredible food source. And then under here, I've got some new things sprouting. Just rotate it out. Replace the grocery store. Green onions. This is medicine. Medicine. Lettuce. All right, let me check these last comments and then I'm going to head off. Do you grow rhubarb? I do in my permaculture landscaping, not on the towers. Speak Life Garden, Homestead, and Permaculture. Oh, I need to check out your channel. I like that name. Yeah, lighting. Okay, so the lighting, this comes with my harvest wall. And it is by, let me see if I can find the name. I saw it the other day. Oh, here it is. Spectra Grow. And they give you this when you buy your harvest wall. Very happy with it. I do think some of this is from the lights being on a little bit too long. It's just a little bit too powerful. So I'm working on adjusting that and kind of figuring that out. With the tower gardens, these are the lights. They're upside down here. That's how I store them. They're missing one of the spectrums, but I don't remember which one it is. They're great though. Like I've grown everything with them. I just think they're missing one little thing you need to make tomatoes grow a little bit better, but don't hold me to that because I really don't know. They are LED. They don't put off the reds and the pinks. But this is all you do with them. They just turn them on. And I like these because they go out and in as your plants grow. And then you've got your timer here. And it's similar timer on the Spectra. And I've grown everything on these, including tomatoes indoors. But I have heard someone say that they're missing one of the lights, like the red or the pink, the ones that you might see. Because those lights burn purple and pink when they're on. These are always white. Either way, I grow a ton of food. And that was one of the reasons I didn't go into hydroponics, because I was going to do a hydroponic system. But you had to hang your lights overhead, and it got so complicated. Like, I don't know. It just was over my head. From a girl perspective, I felt like I was going to have to build things. I didn't want to do that. That's how I got into towers. I had already had one in the past. But I was like, wait a minute. Their lights are so easy. You just plop it on, and you're ready to go. And it has been exactly that, just super easy. When I started connecting with Harvest Wall, I was following them. I like these two companies. I like them personally. They are people I talk to on the phone. They have a mission and a passion. These are not like made in China junk. These are companies that have invested so much thought and planning and love and commitment into these projects. So I was following them. But when I would go on their website, I was so confused, especially with the lights, because originally they weren't, I don't think. If they were, I couldn't see it, including lights in their kit system. But now they are. And so let me show you how it works. It's like a door. Oh, it just kicked on. That's what I mean about the pink and purple. This puts off a pink purple glow. So it's got a little bit different spectrum in it. Definitely a little stronger than the Tower Garden lights. I leave my Tower Garden lights on sometimes 24 hours and it does not harm my plants. This one I've had to back off because it is a little bit harmful to the plants and pull it away. Sometimes I've had it too close as they're growing. But yeah, it's great. Oh, it just kicked off again. It's got a little timer and I've got a couple of the knobs set to weird. Come on late. Okay, talking about, yeah, you can, Kamoni, you can do that for sure. If the water drips from the top on the wall tower, does it drip on the floor? Nope, let me show you. So the water goes from this channel here. I can turn it on. So you set it, it's really easy. And it kicks on. And the water's up here in this channel. So that my finger's in water right now. Where? You can't see that. There's water in here. And then it drips. And it's going behind the plants. Ooh, they're happy. And it goes down the channel all the way down. And the water catchment is down here. And so you can see it dripping back in. Very, very similar to the Tower Gardens. Actually, the exact same thing, just a different shape. And then this tells me, you know, my water needs to be up to here and it's down to here. So my system will tell me when it needs water. Up here, it'll say, water, feed me. Little red light. It's great. I love it. You can find links. If you go to harvesttoday.com, I think is their website. And I have links on my Stand Store site, which I'll drop in the comments. You can find it on my other videos. If you click on any of my videos, it's on there. Use the coupon code ATC for Aeroponic Tower Channel. So ATC5, or just put my name in there. I would use ATC5 because you get 5% off. And then that will connect you through my links. And then I have courses and things coming out to teach how to use this. It's so simple. But when I first got it, because it was different, I was overwhelmed and I let it sit for like 2 months, not 3, before even turning it on because I was like, I just can't. It's so overwhelming. And then I turned it on and I was like, what? That was easy. It was 3 buttons and we're done. So I like to make those videos, just take the overwhelm out so you can get growing right away. It's so important. The food out there is not clean, friends. Relying on a grocery store, we give over our power. No generation before these last couple of generations would have ever relied on someone else to feed them. They would have thought that was crazy. And we live in a society that thinks this is crazy because we have been programmed to be dependent on these broken systems. And if you control the food, you can control the people. That's just how that works. They have the control if they feed us. Water too. Can't wait to see all about the wall towers. Yeah, they're great. Will you pin the links after the video? Yes, I will pin my links. I'm going to hop off now. So grateful that I'm no longer, oh yeah, the smoking conversation is going. That's great conversation. I will pin my links and definitely reach out if you have any questions. My email, Steph, with 2 F's, MOR8@gmail.com. And we'll start growing. Next week, I'm getting back into a lot more gardening content. It's been a lot of hurricane talk lately. We're still building houses, small houses. We've got big things going on with that right now, which is such a blessing. We're getting people homes. But this is so important too. This is so important. So you guys have a blessed day. I'll drop those links in the comments. And